Hello, my creepy story loving friends. Today we're going to find two spooky forest stories on Reddit, and I'm going to find them for the first time, and I'm going to read them for the first time with you. So here we go. So the first one's called "We Ran into an Elder Hiker on a Very Remote Route, and Things About the Encounter Are Messing with My Brain." Okay, so my girlfriend and I encountered something very strange this weekend. We trail run. It's sort of become our thing. Yesterday, hang on a minute, I just stick my glasses on. I'm getting blind, guys, I'm getting blind. Okay. Alright, it's sort of become our thing. Yesterday, we found a trailhead that was up towards the mountains, about 2 hours away from Seattle, pretty remote. So we left early and got to the trailhead at 8 a.m. The trail was particularly difficult, steep enough that we found ourselves walking pretty often. In retrospect, we should have been surprised by what we saw next. Midway through our run on a steep descent, we pass a lone hiker and think absolutely nothing about the encounter. Alone, maybe 65 to 70, and wearing all white. The clothes were modern, looked perfectly placed for today. Hiking pants, vest, and a hat. She had one hiking pole and a backpack. All white. Again, modern clothes. Didn't stand out as strange. We say hello and she says nothing back. Uh-oh. We were running, so there was nothing rude. We simply ran past her. So I guess they were just like running and said hello quickly, and I guess it doesn't really matter if she says something back because they're going quite quick. We continue, it gets harder, but progress nearly 3 miles uphill. We get to a point where the trail becomes an overgrown forest road and a small clearing. At this point, the road begins to get very, very overgrown. So we crest a small ridge and suddenly we see a hiker. It's been 30 minutes since we saw the older lady in white. Yet, here was a hiker with the same outfit. Okay, so 30 minutes since they saw her, and I guess they've been running. They've been going quite quick. There were no forks in our trail. Yet we'd swear this was the same person. But that would be impossible, right? The gravity of this didn't hit yet. So strangely, we ran past her again. We ran a couple of feet in front at least, because at that point the road was entirely bushes and not passable, so we turn around. So we walked past her a last time. She says something like, "Seems like the trail ends here." It didn't feel eerie yet. In retrospect, it was eerie. We ran back. Everything seemed normal until we reflected on why this lady was there. How would she have gotten there before us? How could she have even made it there at all? We just ran 5 miles uphill, steep terrain, and so did this 70-year-old lady? It's been a one-way path. There have been no other turns. The trail we were on at that point was completely overgrown. Enough that we had to turn around. Why was she there? How did she get there? Was she the same lady? When we ran back the same trail, we never ran into the first hiker. Okay, interesting. So this was like from this video 18 days ago, it says. And as far as I can see, there's no further updates, but someone did comment, and it's a sticky comment. And so I'll read the comment quickly. "A few notes as the story rings genuine, and I don't doubt the facts as presented. By the way, I have 2 phenomenal seeming paranormal experiences only to manage debunks." In brackets, one had another witness also. "After some persistent thought, so I'm certainly aware of how such things make us feel. Number 1, white is pretty unusual color match these days. Outdoor clothing that's all white? Assume she had a jacket on. What outdoor jacket is white? Cleaning it is super hard. A white pole is possible. Still less likely than any other color, but white boots? I'm not sure you can even find them. A white day pack is also not a typical color. Outdoor gear gets dirty easily, so white isn't a first color choice. And number 2, Mundane explanations are good to explore. Was what she said about trail ending seems a very reasonable thing to say, not spooky, just what you say to someone else in the middle of nowhere. Also, she may have taken another route up from where you saw her. It seems possible she passed you physically and you not seeing her pass you. So Ockham would say she took a shorter route. Older people who like outdoors will walk all over the place. It seems odd to be walking alone, but people do. What makes the story seem creepy is the clothing color. Yeah, I agree. That's strange. Seeming appearance ahead of you. If we can find an alternate trail that she was on and accept her color choices, it doesn't seem so unusual. I would take a closer look at Google and see if there's any possible alternative routes she could have taken. So OP wrote back. So clothes stood out as the first thing we noticed, strange upon reflection. Everything matched. It wasn't white per se, as the other poster mentioned, more tan. Okay, but it was consistent throughout: the hat, the backpack, the shoes. It's the main reason we were certain that they were the same hiker, as the monotone of the bright outfit stood out. My girlfriend even commented how bold it was to wear white clothing for hiking. And finally, the thing that really gets me, I completely agree on the Ockham explanation, but the trail was following a river up the mountain, which is to say that there was no switchbacks or alternate paths that could have been taken. It was essentially my girlfriend and I going from point A to point B and finding that lady at both. We were running most of the trail, and we certainly passed her going in. It seemed so innocent, but how did she get there? And there are further replies and a few more comments from 18 days ago, and people just asking more questions. So yeah, this one is interesting, and I will link it in the description. I don't know, what do you think about this one? Is it spooky, or do you think there is a perfectly reasonable explanation? Let me know in the comments. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Okay, so the second one, and possibly the last one we're going to read today, is I heard a whistle late at night. Ooh, I like this one. Written by Lumpy Artichoke. Okay, so let's get reading. Last night, my boyfriend and I were headed home and got a flat tire. This was around midnight, and we were in a highway, so we immediately got off an exit in the middle of nowhere, and he got to changing the tire. It was dark. The only light we had were the headlights and our phone. I was very paranoid, and I kept telling my boyfriend I heard things and I feel weird because it was so lonely, but we shook it off with just being paranoid. The whole time we were there, I felt so paranoid and anxious, but my boyfriend was trying to calm me down so he could just change the tire and we could leave. I was on the lookout with my flashlight the whole time. Sounds like something I would do. Finally, after 30 minutes of being out there, he was finished with the tire. Come on, 30 minutes, let's go. He told me to put something up in the car, and as soon as I went back to him, he yelled at me to get the fuck in the car. And I immediately went in the car and was just in full panic mode. Jesus, and yeah, it's like, if he starts panicking, then I'm gonna panic too. The whole car was moving from the trunk, and I just heard banging. I kept trying to look back and forth to see where my boyfriend was and if I saw someone, but honestly, it's just a blur. I can't even remember most of it anymore. Thankfully, my boyfriend immediately comes in the car and we rush out of there. He proceeds to tell me that he had heard a whistle from a thorn bush in front of us, as if someone was calling him. Uh-oh. And that he saw jeans and a body figure right behind it when he heard the whistle, and that when he immediately picked up the flat tire and was forcing it in the trunk. We were terrified and still are, because we were at the location for 30 minutes, so I don't know if a person was just staring at us the whole time. But also, if there was, why? Wouldn't they have done something by then? I wish I looked out when we left to see if there was any movement, or if I saw anyone, but we were just in full panic mode. He literally had chills all over his body. My boyfriend did say when he was forcibly closing the trunk, he had a crowbar and didn't see anyone come out, but it was fast and a blur. He didn't exactly see anything else. I truly do believe he saw something because he felt like it was a life or death situation and that his body took a screenshot. We aren't sure what that whistle was, but we are thankful nothing happened, and we are definitely never stopping in the middle of nowhere in the night ever. Sorry, I have to keep looking at the story because this person's written all in one paragraph, so I'm literally like trying to find my place in the paragraph. Anyway, a friend said that it could have been his guardian angel looking out for him. From that whistle to leave immediately, but yeah, this was definitely the scariest experience we've ever had. Okay, interesting. So this was from like 11 days ago, and there have been a few comments. There's one question in particular. Can you provide more details? Whereabouts did this happen? What country? What state? Close to what city? What road? And OP replied, we were traveling across Texas. If you live in Texas, watch out. And we happened to be between Pecos and Monahans, Texas. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. And we told a old service road that no one was using. Here, I don't know if I typed that correctly, but it sounds like they were on an old service road that no one was using. Okay, so what do you think of that story? I mean, this sounds pretty genuine to me. It doesn't sound like it's been dramatized. It sounds pretty spooky. I don't know. What do you think? It sounds like this person was pretty spooked. Even from the way they've written this Reddit story, they've written it all in like one paragraph. Like there's no gaps. Like they've just like quickly typed it out and they've made mistakes. Like I had to stop a few times to like, this doesn't really make sense. So it sounds like they've been pretty spooked by it. It'd be interesting to hear your thoughts. Leave it in the comments, please. And if you have any other Reddit stories that you find or that you've ever read that you found particularly spooky, please send me links. Link it in the comments. Like I'd love to hear them and to read them. Yeah, I'm always on the hunt for stories that seem the most genuine, seem the most real. So yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts. Anywho, until next time, my friends, thank you so much for watching. I will speak to you soon.